Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of This Week in Comics. My name is Yule, and every week I run down comics I'm looking forward to. I review comics I've read, and we also talk about the top 5 books that we sold last week. Alright, we do this every week. Coming in at number 5, we have Infinity Wars number 1, the big Marvel miniseries event of this summer. A rarity at number 4, we have Batman number 52. Usually this is the top book of the week, so let's see what beats it. Number 3 this week, we have Captain America number 2. This is the Ta-Nehisi Coates written story with Leinil Yu art. Mr. Miracle number 10 comes in at number 2 this week. This is one of my favorite books that's coming out, and there's only 2 more issues to go. I'm really ramped up for it and can't wait. Taking our top spot this week, we have Paper Girls number 23. This is a common occurrence. Brian K. Vaughan is a common occurrence at the top spot. He can do no wrong except not come out with Saga for a year. I had way too many things on my plate this week, so you're only getting this one review. First and last this week, we have Captain America number 2. This is written by Ta-Nehisi Coates with art by Leinil Yu. The story continues from number 1, where we see Captain America fighting a whole bunch of nukes. Nuke is like a government agent that's been put on like a bunch of like superhuman pills and stuff. And they always wear like flags on their face. And anybody that's read Marvel Comics in the past knows about Nuke. And this is basically just a bunch of them. And Captain America has to take them down because they're, basically terrorizing things. But that's not really the story here. What's really going on is Ta-Nehisi Coates is exploring Captain America and how we as a nation feel about him, how his people that he works with feel about him, how his lover Sharon Carter feels about him, because previous to Coates writing this story, there was that whole Hydra Cap story. And if you don't know anything about this, the Captain America we've known and loved all these years was secretly a Hydra agent. And that got all solved, but now we have this Steve Rogers that's running around trying to figure out his place in the world. And yeah, I think this is a pretty darn good story. The artwork's excellent. I like how Coates starts with action and then he gets into the talky stuff, the boring stuff. I'm just joking. It's pretty well done. The only thing I'll say about this issue that I have a little bit of a problem with, it just feels very much just like the first issue. You have the first part where you have internal monologue of Captain America, which I don't mind. I actually liked it in this issue. Meanwhile, he's fighting people while he's doing that. And then at the end of the first issue, he meets up with Thunderbolt Ross. Ross says that people don't really like him that much and maybe he shouldn't be doing this stuff. And then here he is in the second issue doing it again, and then Ross does the same spiel with him. And then we have later on Sharon Carter telling Captain America that she's going to be going off on some missions, with Ross and all the, basically doing all the stuff that Captain America normally would do. And then here he's left at home. There is a crossover at the end. It's not much of a spoiler. You're going to see Black Panther and Wakandans in holographic image, and they're going to be, I guess, asking for Captain America's help. So there's going to be action going forward. There's going to be Black Panther going forward, it looks like. It seems obvious since Coates writes both books. I really like this issue a lot. There was a little sameness from issue 1, but I can forgive that. I liked what I saw, and I'm really looking forward to the third issue. I think you should check this one if you haven't already. There you go. That's my review. 4 main books caught my attention this week. Let's see what they are. Any fan of Matt Kent is probably going to want to know that Black Badge number 1 is coming out this week. This is about a Boy Scout troop that runs secret missions for the government. I think that's a pretty cool premise. I am a big fan of Matt Kent. He has done Mind Management and Grass Kings. In fact, Grass Kings is drawn by Tyler Jenkins, who's doing this book. And they've worked well together in the past, so I'm really looking forward to this book. If you've read any of Matt Kent's stuff, this is probably one you're going to want to check out. I'm going to. Next up, we've got the Spider-Man Annual. This is an annual for a comic that actually isn't in publication anymore. It features Miles Morales, and if you have been wanting a solo story from him, you're gonna finally get it. At least, again, this one time. Anyway, it's written by Brian Hill, and it has art by, what's this guy's name? Nelson Blake. And I'm a big fan of Miles Morales, and it's been pretty boring in the Marvel Universe if you only have to read Champions to get that version of Spider-Man. So, pick this one up. Brian Hill's been a pretty popular writer lately. He's been doing detective comics for DC, and now he's plying his trade over at Marvel. So, like I said, pick this one up. So, can anybody tell me who's sad that the Fantastic Four hasn't been a book for quite a while now? Anybody? Fantastic Four is going to be coming back out this Wednesday. It's going to be written by Dan Slott, who's fresh off an Amazing Spider-Man run. He does Iron Man, and it's going to have art by Sarah Pichelli, who recently did a long run on Ultimate Spider-Man. You might remember that Miles Morales character I just talked about. And the FF are back. We got Sue and Reed and Johnny and Ben, and I'm sure the kids are going to be in tow. So if you're a fan of any of that, if you're a fan of the Fantastic Four and just want to see them done right, hoping that they're going to be done right, you should check this one out. There's a lot of people that are excited about it, coming in the store every day talking about it. I've got this one guy that's been like pestering me for months about this book. So it's coming out on Wednesday. You should pick it up if you're a big Fantastic Four fan, if you're a Marvel fan. If you like Dan Slott, Sarah Pichelli's art's going to be great. Check it out. Sandman Universe #1 is a one-shot anthology that's going to be group edited by Neil Gaiman. In fact, he's choosing all the writers and all the artists that are going to be working on these books. There are going to be a bunch of people outside of comics coming on in, and Cy Spurrier, who's a comic vet, writing this one, and it's going to be representative of a bunch of the books that are going to be coming out later this year under the Neil Gaiman / Sandman Universe imprint, if you will. I personally am looking forward to this. I've always been a fan of Sandman. If you are a fan of, I'm going to call it British magic realism, you should check this one out. Any fans of Vertigo books are probably going to want to check this one out. There's a lot of people that feel left behind. Vertigo has totally changed over the years, and it got a little bit more action-y and a little bit more spacey, and the Doom Patrol and the Invisibles and Shade and Sandman have not been around really for the most part in a long time, and I'm looking forward to that style of writing again. I'm hoping that that is what's going to be here. I personally, in the store, as a store owner, am looking for another book that might take over Saga's reign as #1, since #1 book in the store, since it's obviously not going to be out for a while, and I'm hoping Neil Gaiman can lead the charge. So, if you're a fan of Sandman, Neil Gaiman, or just some odd stuff, I'm looking forward to these books, and you should too. For 3 weeks, until the 27th, we will not have another episode. But if I can, and I'm not promising anything, I might have a couple of quickie reviews that we come up with. So, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that bell for notifications, because if anything should come up, you'll find out about it. Also, if you're looking for any comic book fandom kind of infotainment, if you will, I have 2 recommendations for you. There's a podcast called the ComicCast Podcast you should check out. And if you are on YouTube, like you are right now, you should check out Mutant Agenda. I really like his stuff. He's a shopper here in the store. He's a worker next door at the store, and he likes X-Men books. So, if you are a fan of any of that kind of stuff, you should check out that. You should check out the ComicCast Podcast. They talk about a lot of other things than just superhero books. So, until then, 3 weeks. See you later.